appreciation is an interesting thing.
Yeah, I appreciate you,
I
but I
depreciate.
depreciate you. Ooh, that sounds cold and nasty.
I mean, that sort of makes me think of Calvin always telling his dad, like, "Hey, Dad, the poles are in. You're slipping in the dad poles."
Yeah, the public opinion. Sorry, Dad. We're gonna have to take back your mug. Being repossessed.
Oh, I do. The word repossess is sort of compelling, evocative, I should say, provocative.
What does it evoke or provoke?
Well, weren't we talking about a repo? Do you remember what our repo opera was about?
I know that it certainly wasn't the genetic opera.
Oh, the Mandalorian. I wanna do that. That is gonna have to come into the fourth season.
Oh, right. The Mandela effect.
Yeah, a bounty hunter for ideas lost to the Mandela effect, memories.
Yeah, I remember now.
Oh, I
And
had sort of
he repossesses those ideas.
yeah, and then I had a shower thought while I was sort of contemplating that, and I thought it would be kind of funny because Bill Burr is in The Mandalorian. And I don't know why my head went here, but I thought it would be funny if instead like the Mandalorians I think they're a race, right? I'm not very clear.
They're a culture, but I think it might also be like it's like an ethno-cultural thing.
Right.
But non-ethnic people can be inducted into it and become Mandalorian.
Okay. I
They
was
they really like taking in orphans. It's kind of their thing.
because it's also sort of like a what do you call it? Not like a cult, but a sect. Like it seems sort of like a faith sect, right? Which I guess, yeah, whatever. The Star Wars
Kind of,
is.
but yeah, it's more of a cultural thing, and you do have to kind of it's invitational. You have to be inducted into it.
Okay. Well, anyways, the point I was gonna try to get to was because Bill Burr is a bald man in the Mandalorian, and because and I'm gonna forget his name. Come on, John McClane,
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is a bald man who is a time traveling bounty hunter in Looper, right? Sort of
Yeah, in that one he was actually more just balding.
bald.
I don't know why they left the sides intact. That just damaged his aesthetic in that film.
But I thought it would be funny if all the Mandalorians were bald men. And we could have what's his name from Red, the other bald man, Malkovich as well. I don't know if I
Oh,
referred to Malkovich
I
as
would
Red.
love to have the cast from Red becoming Repo Men. Retired,
Yeah,
extremely dangerous.
with Bill Burr as well. They're all hanging out in a
Yeah,
tavern.
I have a feeling that Malkovich and Burr would step on each other's toes in their roles a lot because they're both the really sassy backtalky guy.
That is true. That's interesting.
Not that I think that they shouldn't both be in it, but I definitely want to see them fight now.
Well, that's what I really appreciate the compilations of Bill Burr ruining interviews, and it's not so much that he's like trying to ruin them, but it's just that he doesn't put up with the fake energy that other people try to bring into interviews.
He is a no nonsense kind of guy.
And I feel like Malkovich is a bit of a scene, not as a derogatory thing, but he's a bit of a scene chewing actor. So I feel like Bill Burr would be annoyed by Malkovich, but revere him for being Malkovich.
Yeah. Yeah, Malkovich definitely chews up every scene that he's in, that's for sure. And it's almost recognized in universe. Cause he like they're walking through a diner or something and everybody else is staring flabbergasted at him as he's talking. Just like way too loud, ridiculously about killing people or whatever else he happens to be discussing at the time. Usually methods to kill people.
Very dryly.
Yeah, and also waving around a really big gun. Just really casual, but he does it in such a hammy scene chewing way.
I would also like to revisit the idea. I can't remember if we said it specifically. Maybe there was something about a puppet master. Now I can't remember. But I do remember liking the.
I lost you.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking, but if it's General Malkovich lore, what is this? Premise discussion. Is there an entire clandestine organization responsible for the John Malkovich tunnel? What do these people really do? They're the Men in Black. Who made the tunnel into John Malkovich's head, and are there others? Sorry, I just got lost. I like the idea of holes that go into other people's heads, and I would like to play on that someday. I remember that we had talked about a clandestine organization which comes up with all sorts of holes into people's heads?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure John Malkovich's character in that film was specialized in putting holes in people's heads
Right. Anyways,
with
shall we?
bullets.
I can't remember much of that movie. Was there like, did they have physics bending bullets?
No, that was a different and much less good movie.
No movie is as good as a movie with Mary Louise Parker in it.
Okay, I'm ready to move on.
Let's move on. Segue. We're good at them. Transition. This week we are. I mean, hey everybody, welcome to the Tucker and Toddcast.
Welcome. Hello. Hi, Craig.
Hey Craig,
Oh, hi.
did you see 32-bit Craig or whatever?
I did. He flew around. I was very impressed.
He flies around. He needs sound effects for him. I think we need to, everybody needs their own sound effects. So, oh, that is one thing. An update. 4-person. So multiplayer co-op is like a pipe dream for the style of the game that we're making. If we wanted to make like a 4-person brawl drop-in kind of thing that was 3D, that would be kind of easier to do. But doing the 2D side scroller as a multiplayer is like getting rough to hook up, unless the characters all look the same. They can all look the same, but I don't want to do that.
No, certainly not. It might be a single player experience, but there's some way to change characters mid level or something.
Yeah, did you see that I typed that into the Discord earlier and then deleted it?
Well, no, I obviously didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't sure. I don't know. Yeah, that is the compromise that I would propose. Is like I don't know. I'm sure many games do it, but I'm thinking of Trine. Did you ever play Trine?
I didn't play that one, but lots of games do that. Uh, you'd have to start it with either a character select or each level starts with a specific character, and then at predetermined points throughout the level, you can change to whatever character you want. Probably better to do total freeform, and you can choose whichever one to start, and then once you progress to a certain point, you have to change.
Yeah, I was thinking since I got that working, I got the character select working. So all 4 start and all 4 do their own like input sets. So that is working now. And so it could either work as just hit a button and you immediately switch, or you have to run up to like there's like maybe like a shrine on each level and you can only switch characters at the shrine. I don't know. Or maybe
Yeah, probably better to do it at a fixed point. But if you do that, that means that you can't have any character specific puzzles before you're able to reach that point. Because otherwise, if you bring the wrong character into the level at the start, you're fucked.
yeah, exactly. But otherwise, that is the progress we have made moving forward. Oh, yeah, anyways. This week, we are swapping to the other side of our narrative spectrum, and we're doing a mirroring episode.
Today, we are the bad guys. I guess again.
Again, yeah. And so, what we are doing is we've done all of this establishing a storyline of what NFTs are and where they came from, where they are, who has them, sort of what could be done with them. I guess that's what we're going to be doing with this episode is establishing the motivation and what has been done by the people that we have considered our antagonists, if we are the protagonists so far.
Yeah, in some ways, I think Bezolbub might actually be the protagonist. He's the one who wants to get something done, and we are definitely in the way. Tucker and Todd are probably the antagonists, in the same way that John McClane is the antagonist in Die Hard, because he's not the one with the goal.
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't have an objective. He's there to stymie the real protagonists, which are the terrorists.
Oh, is that so? You know how you were saying that Jeff Bridges is going to be Jeff Bridges is the current head of Fantasology, and
Correct. And he's an angel.
he's an angel, and he's a pal of Jeff Bezolbub. I guess a begrudging pal. I can't remember.
Frenemies. I love that word.
Yeah, frenemy.
They're frenemies. They're technically brother angels, but they fight like siblings. They don't get along perfectly.
Right. And in this universe, because Jeff Bezolbub is the protagonist, at least for this episode, Jeff Bridges is going to be his Plato Miss Frizzle educational character.
Yeah.
And so because he's going to be the one Jeff is going to be the other Jeff's Ms. Frizzle. Would there be a scene, you just kind of said the word specifically a couple moments ago when you were describing how, oh fuck, I wish I had like written it down or something. But you were describing kind of like the difference in the paradigm, the perspective of what a protagonist is, depending about like having a goal.
An objective.
Right. The protagonist has an objective, and we've been the antagonist the whole time. And it would be sort of cool if Jeff Bridges had an encounter or a confrontation with Tucker and Todd, kind of like towards the end of this episode, or maybe in the next episode. I'm not sure, where he kind of like gives us that perspective. I don't know.
Is Jeff Bridges going to give us that perspective, or is he going to give it to Bezolbub?
I'm not sure, because I feel like he would be here's the thing: is Jeff Bridges in his advisement to Bezolbub benevolent, or is he trying to sabotage him in some way?
It's well-meaning. It's probably benevolent. Jeff Bridges is just benevolent.
Just always in everything he does. Okay,
Doesn't always work out great, but the good intention is there.
that's an interesting thing. Good intentions and angels and the road to hell and all that.
Yes, and that's one day when we actually find the route back to hell, that's probably how we're going to get there.
Jeff knows the way.
Basilbub sure does.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell Bridges though. Bridges is going to find out on his own thanks to all of his good intentions.
All right, he paves his own way. Okay. So where would this? I guess since we start so many of our episodes in our studio, we're starting in Basilbub's headquarters of sorts.
You get to pick whether we're going to be in one of the street side headquarters on Earth, or if we're going to be in the frickin' wicked cool space station that's just orbiting above the space elevator.
I was really looking forward to revisiting the space elevator, or I guess the space station.
Me too. Annabelle is there.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been looking forward to seeing her again. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you, I'm really looking forward to designing the Annabelle level in the video game and the music for it.
The music for it will be something else because she's a French pirate in space.
Yeah. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that with the 8-bit machine.
And the level design, some parts of it are going to have to be, it'll be, I don't know if it should be half and half or it should be like a seamless fusion where it's like old timey ship style, but also very sci fi space age. There's got to be planks to walk, but they lead to an airlock plank.
It's, I mean, you're the imagination runs away with what can be done with it.
Yeah,
I'm
before our imaginations too far away, we should probably get back to the space station.
We should. So we start on a space station. We do
Is Basilbub brooding in front of a fireplace, a simulated fireplace that actually has like a 16-bit graphical display?
I was trying to figure out how to work in a joke about like somebody walks in and says, "Can we put Jeopardy back on?" or something along those lines, or Caddyshack,
If
or the
I were,
news. Oh, he's watching the news.
oh yeah, but I think in the background I still want that 16-bit simulated display of a fireplace. There's no actual fireplace on the space station, but there is a fake digital one.
Of course, I'm obsessed with the pixel style. I'm happy to do anything in the pixel style now.
Yeah, which is I agree, which is why I didn't want to do one of those because at any Home Depot, Rona, wherever you can see those fake fireplaces that have the just like the display that looks kind of like fire.
Yeah.
Look, that's too real. We want something that looks like a nerd designed it. It needs to be 16-bit and make crappy 16-bit fire sounds.
Oh well, one of the environments in for the Oculus, you set your environment that you're always in, and mine is a little Japanese pagoda, but there's a little like pixel fireplace in the corner with the little pixel flames that come out, and I love it.
That's awesome.
And little pixel clouds and pixel rose tree, or what are they called? Like rose blossom trees out in the side, whatever. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. All right, so Basilbub is watching the news. Is there anything of note that happens to be on the news?
Oh, Well, usually when there's something of note on the news that Tucker and Todd are listening, they interrupt it or they talk over it or they ignore it. So if we're doing upside downsy world here, there's something that he's keenly paying attention to. It has something to do with his company. I don't know, something to do with his company, or it's a cryptic reference to something that's gonna work into the plot later.
Is it anything to do with like a public spotlight on his space elevator?
A public spotlight.
Yeah, is he watching his own publicity? Is he one of those bad guys who will watch his own interviews on TV, or watch like a press release
Oh,
about the progress of his space elevator?
he's make he's okay. We've shown signs that he's had a one night stand, and it's the next morning, and he's making the one night stand watch a publicity reel
Ooh, he is evil.
or a commercial or some version of that.
I think it should still be the news, but it should be about him
Right? Yeah.
or Abaddon, something to do with Abaddon. Maybe a new product is launching.
And so how do we play her reaction to that? Because I think the typical comedy reaction is she stares in like abject disgust or whatever. I would like to subvert that a little bit, but I don't want her to be just like into it.
No, she won't. She definitely shouldn't be into it. No sane person should be. Nobody is. Nobody will ever be as into Bezolbub as Bezolbub is. But she should at least probably start with trying to be polite. After all, she's on a space station. How's she gonna get home if she's rude? Second of all, this guy's really wealthy and she wants some of that. So she'll probably try to stick
Oh,
it out, and like she'll start foaming at the mouth and like her eyes will tear up, and it'll just become increasingly painful and uncomfortable to watch for her.
she'll do what? She'll stick it. Oh, as in like endure it.
Yes, she will try
Ah,
to endure it because it's in her best interests to do so.
but it's
Sh
making her suffer.
Immensely. But
Okay,
Yeah,
I
she's
get it.
she's on a space station. You might as well be in a different nation. So just she's aware of the gravity of the situation. If she's like, ugh, what kind of creep watches his own publicity? I don't know, maybe she's gonna get left in outer space. Have you seen that angry French pirate? She's still lurking around here somewhere. She tosses people out the window.
Does she start like having the allergic reaction that we've described to as a reacts reaction before? She starts getting sick and showing all these signs of she's suffering, and as she's suffering, she reaches out to the remote, and then she switches the news to Jeopardy, and then as soon as it's Jeopardy, she starts like going back to normal, and she uses that as a segue to like, can we talk about something serious? And we use can we talk about something serious as a way to move into like what is happening next.
Certainly. What is happening next?
Or I mean, should it be can we talk about something serious? Or should she I don't know. I'm so many options. Should she be dismissive and she actually like shuts him down like or switches to something that she's starring in? She's an actress, maybe. And now she makes him watch something that she's in. She's like, "That's nice, but look at this." Like it makes it about her.
Would she dare? This isn't her space station. Would she have the gall? She sure would have to be already famous and powerful to have that kind of gall. She would almost have to be as up her own ass as Basilbub is.
Then do we make that an opportunity to show how he responds to people having so much gall? Like he rolls his eyes and he's like, you had so much potential," and then he, I don't know, spaces her or whatever.
Such a waste. Yeah, I think that would probably be a pretty good character establishing moment.
Yeah,
She behaves even slightly as self-centered as he does, and he's like, such a waste, such a waste," and then
you made it so far. Yeah,
has her spaced.
yeah.
But she's out there, and like she gets tossed out the airlock, and then half a second later, somebody throws her purse out after her, as if tossing somebody out on Earth.
Does she get tossed? That is funny. Does she get tossed, or does she get turned into something useful? Because he's like, we've established him as. Oh wait, was it him? Who was the slave driver? Was that Annabelle?
Oh, Annabelle runs basic. She's basically a hired thug, and so is her entire pirate crew. They definitely they oversee the slavery that he commands of them.
So would it be more characteristic of him to just have her like, like What's ejected or turned into a different place?
Ejected, or lobotomized and turned into a servitor drone.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know which one of those is funnier and which one of those is bleak and tragic.
Is there a way that we can get away with like using every part of the buffalo or whatever, dismantling her in some way?
Now we're getting into body horror and even more bleak.
Yeah, I guess I don't need that. What's a devilish thing to do? I'm trying to think of satanic things. He turns her into a pillar of salt. No, that's a godly thing.
Tricks her into eating an apple.
And their
Aha,
apple
the
has a
apple
worm
was a
in it that
grenade.
enslaves her. Oh, I was gonna say the apple has a creepy crawly inside of it, which has take over your brain. Is as you said, turns her into a servitor drone.
Oh, that's interesting. Although I am still stuck to the idea of how funny it would be to have one of your thugs toss somebody out the airlock and then throw their shoes out after them or their purse out after them. I don't know about you, but I've been thrown out of a joint like that before.
Tossed?
Uh, Aggressively encouraged to leave. That's all the detail I'm going to put in there. And then, yeah, and my shoes got tossed out after.
Well, you're at a bowling alley?
No, I was in somebody's home.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have I don't wear my shoes in people's homes. Do you?
I'm trying to think. Not most homes, no.
I don't know. It's been like 17 months since I've been to someone's home.
It has genuinely been a long time since I've been in a home. But I don't know. Humans are so funny because once you've gotten to somebody's home and you've taken your shoes off, you're walking around in somebody's home in your sockies, and that's so silly to me. I don't know why.
It depends on the standards in the home and what the area around the home is like and what you might bring in on your shoes.
Yeah. I was just talking about this with my mom the other day because I was saying I was grateful that when I was a kid, I had a friend and her mom. We had to always come in the back door to their house because nobody was allowed to use the front door because nobody was allowed to walk through the front portion of the house. And her mom would vacuum the carpets every day until there was no lines. There you had to see no lines, and therefore that's what I was saying. I told my mom I'm really grateful I didn't have one of those moms.
You mean a crazy person?
Crazy person, yes.
Yeah, because you know what the value of a section of a house that nobody's allowed to actually really walk through is? Nothing. None.
Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, none.
You're
That
wasting
house
whatever.
that house is for using. That's it. That's some irrational stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, you're insulting the house and its ancestors.
It's kind of an insult to its purpose at the very least. That's it's it smacks of a similar attitude to negligent food waste. We can afford to not even use this part of our house. We have so
Yeah,
much house, we don't even need that part. We'll just not use it at all. And then there are people out there who have no house at all to use.
throw it out and put a lock on the container so that nobody can take the perfectly good food that we threw out.
Yeah,
We're not even going to use this. We can afford to just throw it away. We can afford to not use it.
And if they do try to take it, put them in a container. So there.
It's okay though because we have a permit.
Yeah, right. Okay, getting back
Yeah,
to
yeah. Do we want to give her the? Oh shit! It's you know what? It's even funnier if we use an Apple because Apple,
I was gonna say
big tech corpo.
Big Tech Corpo. Apple made the apple. I was gonna say it would be funny the way to work in the apple is she's standing by the airlock or whatever, and the servitor drone or whoever works whatever. Wow, I should slow down and not put so many sibilances in between my thoughts.
Take a second.
Take a second.
Catch your breath.
Whatever thug or henchman or assistant is in the room assisting with this process as he's backing up hands her an apple and she's kind of looking at it. It serves as a distraction. She says, "What's the apple for?" And he kind of shrugs and he's like, "Tradition." And that's when the machine goes poof and she goes flying out, and then they toss out her purse and shoes after.
I have a feeling that people will be allowed to wear their shoes on the space station.
Okay.
Although she did just get basically tossed out of Bezolbub's suite, you might not be allowed to wear shoes in there. You definitely can't wear shoes in bed.
Well,
That's crazy.
I was assuming she was dressed in the tropey she's wearing his shirt and nothing else kind of thing. It's the next morning collared shirt and panties thing.
I assume she's not wandering in the hall that way.
No, but I don't think she was wandering in the hall. I thought
When she's tossed out, she's her clothes. Basilbub Okay. Scene breakdown. She says some line, and Bezolbub will make a face at it. Some kind of frown of disappointment, be like, such a waste. And then it immediately smash cuts to her getting shoved out the door of his.
Oh, in a different location? Shoved out the door of where though?
Audience perspective is in the hallway. She's being shoved out the door of his suite.
Okay.
So we just see his hand giving her a push, and then immediately afterwards, her pants and stuff get tossed out at her. And then she's grumbling and dressing herself in the hallway as she's walking along, quickly being escorted by some thug towards the airlock. She doesn't have time to put on her shoes or collect up her purse before she gets tossed out, which is why they get tossed out after her.
And she doesn't know that she's being walked towards the airlock. She's still like asking about, hey, where's my this? Or hey, don't I have a right to, like, she's protesting.
I think she's protesting so hard that she's not paying attention to the signs on the walls that say danger airlock.
Yeah, she's protesting some superficial thing. She doesn't understand the not direness of the situation, whatever the proper word is there. The gravity.
Yeah, she doesn't realize what terrible circumstance she's in. She's like, I didn't even get breakfast. You're not going to need breakfast out there. Out where? Shove. Okay, so she's flung out the airlock. She's still holding an apple. Her purse and shoes get tossed out behind her. And then there's like even though it wouldn't really occur, for cinematic sake, there's a loud slam as the door shuts behind her.
Like a wooden door slam?
Exactly. It's just like a sound effect. And it would, of course, only work on the interior of the space station where it's oxygenated and has air.
Right.
But it happens. It has to happen. And of course, there's a light on her from the door that closes, and it cuts out that light that's shining on her from the interior.
And then it cuts away from that scene to Bezolbub stepping into a boardroom, like buttoning up the last button on a shirt or something like that to show that there's been some time change and he's moved locations. And he's
and totally moved on. He's just he's washed his hands of it entirely. He's like tightening his tie.
Oh, or does it or does it return to his chamber that he's in and the camera moves slightly to the left and he looks at the other girl and says, "So, would you like to watch the commercial?" Or some version of
that. That is also a great character establishing moment. Figures that the devil would be a womanizer and be hosting several. It's like, and what do you want to watch?
Yeah, be hosting several, but also be hosting this weird like Squid Game.
Well, yeah, if they don't pass, they get tossed out because, I mean, I assume the last one was not really fit for slave labor. Maybe this one isn't either. He has no time for chaff. Humans are expendable.
Oh, of course. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so it's just that joke. And she eagerly, this is kind of what I wanted to do with that Western trope of like, point to the spot on the map. No, I refuse. You get beat the fuck up. Okay, your chance. Point to the spot on the map. Immediately points. She's like, yeah, she would love to watch the commercial.
Well, yeah, if anything, the last one was only there to set a terrible example and a warning.
Yeah. And then so after she eagerly like flicks the TV back on, then we can like cut away to would we cut away? Will we cut away to like him in a meeting later, or do we cut away to a different character? Do we cut away and establish the Jeff Bridges in his place?
Oh, we can do a little song and dance bit where it's going to split through a few different perspectives of different characters' morning routines at that particular time. Jeff Bridges will be currently riding the space elevator up. So when it cuts to him, he'll just be standing there looking at his watch in the elevator as it goes up. But it'll cut back and forth. So there'll be Bezolbub. He'll be like brushing his teeth with some kind of automated self brushing toothbrush and stuff, and then it'll cut over to somebody else having to brush their teeth in a much more mundane fashion. Probably Annabelle.
Oh, there's some sort of like drone floating around his head with little like robot arms brushing his teeth.
Some kind of extendo hand, some kind of a slave is doing it, some kind of automated device, something that just flies. Who knows? Bezolbub has all of it. It's on a drone propeller. It's just like a toothbrushing drone.
I imagined a barber in a pillory.
Just kind of with one of his hands holding the toothbrush, just kind of with the really limited field of motion that a pillory will give you.
Yeah. And Jeff is looking in the mirror going, could you tidy up the left or whatever? And the guy sighs. But yeah, so they go back and forth, so is it a split screen, and both of these things are going on simultaneously? We're watching the routine at the same time, or is it swapping back and forth?
I like the side by side, but it only lets you see two perspectives at a time. And if we want to occasionally cut back to Jeff Bridges, who's still just listening to crappy elevator music and looking at his watch every once in a while,
Who is the third?
Annabelle,
Oh, okay.
just
Oh, okay.
just for the option.
And I do like that idea. So it's two side by side, and every now and then one frame squashes down as the other pushes in, kind of thing.
Yeah, and like everybody's kind of getting ready as Jeff Bridges is getting closer and closer, and their meeting at the board, of which Jeff Bridges is going to be present for, is coming.
Right.
And of course, Annabelle is going to be at the meeting of the board too, because I guess she technically has a leadership position in the company.
I was trying to figure out how to work in some way that one person at the meeting is extremely uninterested and interrupts or makes some sort of noise that draws a bunch of attention to him, and he's like, sorry, I guess I must have missed up. I thought this was a board meeting, and is a BORED.
See, on the one hand, Annabelle would be super bored with it because she's an adrenaline junkie who gets off on violence and just crazy stuff. So, trying to keep her in a chair in a room where she's not allowed to make lots of noise would probably be a sophisticated form of torture. But I don't think she'll make any puns.
Yeah, it wouldn't be her.
No, but what she would do is probably shoot the guy who said that. That would make her happy.
And the blood comes out of the hole in his head in a way that is very similar to the way that the blood comes out of the neck in Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah. Including it going in slow motion while everybody else seems to be moving at normal speed.
Yeah.
We don't respect physics. We're in a space station.
So is the board meeting about the NFTs?
If we're continuing if this time period is going to be continuing through the NFT saga, so it's occurring at the same time, then yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I imagined it was either like leading up to, beforehand, or during this time. So I'm not sure if it's pre, because we described a situation in which Abaddon has 6 NFTs and Tucker and Todd now also have 6. This could be a time after that, like, because we'd said that there was sort of like a Cold War in between. This could be during that Cold War, or it could be during the saga during which Tucker and Todd were acquiring the other 6, or it could be how Abaddon acquired their 6 in the first place, or it could be a time before that when they devised their plan to want the NFTs.
I think the two best contenders are either before Tucker and Todd managed to get Fantasology's 3 NFTs, so Jeff Bridges is there in possession of 3, which gives him an actual seat at the table and like a good negotiating position, or after Tucker and Todd get those 3 as well as those 3 others. So now Jeff Bridges has none and has no choice but to throw in his lot entirely with Abaddon.
I can't. Did we give Jeff Bridges a Lord of the Rings parallel? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's good.
Do you have one in mind?
No, I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to make sure that there wasn't going to be like weird overlaps that we were trying to shoehorn in.
Nope, in this case it's just kind of Jeff Bridges, but he probably looks a lot like he did in the newer Tron movie.
Right.
Older, robes, and of course they're like sci-fi robes, so they got glowing strips on them for no good reason.
That is funny, yeah. Oh, that's exciting. That made me I got all excited because then we can do Daft Punk music.
Maybe that's the elevator music.
Ooh, good at yeah, because that Tron soundtrack was awesome. I think it was better. Yeah, it was better.
Yeah, it was better than the movie, and there is a scene, an elevator scene with Jeff Bridges, but the elevator's going down, and this time it's going up, and instead of like free falling, it's going apparently agonizingly slowly.
Okay, great.
So that would mean like a fast-paced electronic soundtrack would be totally out of place, which is perfect. It's got fast, high adrenaline beat stuff going on, and the elevator's actually just moving really slowly.
The pirates are always like, "Arr, I hate this. These new
Oh,
fancy
he's
code."
not in there alone. He's got pirates with him. He's got
Oh,
a. Are they? Are I? No. I mean this is the space elevator. It's going to be guarded.
oh, that's true. Yeah.
So, but like rather than only having guards at the top and bottom, there are probably guards riding in the carriage as well. So he probably has pirate guards in there.
Yeah, I assume there's some kind of staff. I don't know if we ever described exactly how many, because I think we described at one point that people would come to and from as like it's sort of like a ferry. So I'm imagining that like 100 or 200 people can be on this thing at a time. So that would have a staff on it, and so it would be staffed by the pirates, I think, unless it is staffed
Yeah,
by Abaddon.
it'll be both, but security staff will be the pirate crew.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They're the thugs, whereas most of the Abaddon employees will be Joe Sixpack and like programmers. They'll be wearing Tron stuff too. They will look like that cyberpunk gang from the Saints Row game.
Okay. Good. So we need to do this. Okay, so sorry. We one more time establishing time period. What you said out of the two was before Fantasology hands over the three, so that we're dealing with Jeff more.
Yeah, because there's either before the Cold War, the NFT Cold War, or during, basically. For Jeff Bridges to be showing up, it'll either be when he still has those three NFTs in Fantasology's possession, which would give him a more power at this table, or after he's lost them and he's basically coming in to announce that he's lost them.
That would be sort of interesting because then that would make his approach, like coming up the elevator, heading towards the board meeting. That would give he would have what's the word?
Tension.
Yeah, trepidation. Like he would have some weight on his shoulders.
Occasionally tugging at his shirt collar. Yee. Yeah, so that I guess that's actually before the Cold War begins proper, because the Cold War doesn't really start until both sides are kind of in relative equilibrium.
Right, but he's coming to deliver the bad news.
Yeah, that the other guys got 6. The Cold War is now going to begin. And now that I can't compete with you anymore, Bezolbub, I guess I'm on your team.
Oh, as he's coming out of the space elevator, does he see the woman who got ejected and he's like, "Oh, great." He's in one of his moods sort of things.
There are
Looks like
windows on the space elevator, and she's
yeah,
floating out there.
looks like he got started early or something like that.
Yeah, but she's not dead. She's trying to get cell phone reception.
Oh, that's funny. She's like holding her cell phone up, like looking for bars.
Yeah,
She wants to call a cab to get out of here. She because in this way we don't have to actually kill her. Like at first it seems like she's definitely dead, but then we see her in passing and she's just floating out there.
No explanation for why.
She's holding her shoes in one hand, and then in the other hand she's holding her phone in various positions to get bars.
Yeah, I like that. The float of shame.
yeah. She's been kicked out. And then the moment passes and the elevator continues on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that better. Jeff is here to deliver bad news at the scheduled board meeting. And of course, there's more trepidation because he sees that Bezolbub is apparently already in a disagreeable mood.
But at the same time, he is also, I think we've said, he's very the dude-ish. So he doesn't actually genuinely take it seriously to the point that he's worried.
Well, he's still coming. If he was really afraid, he wouldn't have even stepped onto the elevator. He'd go into hiding or something.
Right.
He's as he's riding the elevator, he's kind of giving himself a bit of a pep talk about how he's going to break this bad news.
Is it going to be one of those things where it's like it's totally absolute bad news, or is there going to be like Bezolbub starts losing his mind? He does the Hades, he's like all on fire kind of thing or whatever, and then but Jeff they're both Jeff. Jeff Bridges says he's
I
like,
too
"What?"
have wrestled with that. They're both Jeff.
Um,
Jeff Bridges says it's not all bad, man.
Yeah, it's not all bad, man. Like he knows something about, like, I'm not saying that there's like a homing device, but like that sort of trope of like there's something that he knows about the three that Fantasology had before. Even though Tucker and Todd have them, that means that we have some sort of ability to do ABC or whatever.
Not only that, but Bridges will now dedicate Fantasology's resources to Abaddon's cause, which was previously not the case. They were going to work together, but not like closely. They would kind of share information, but not resources, because the previous plan was for Fantasology to use those three NFTs to accumulate power and actually outcompete Abaddon.
Right.
So now Jeff Bridges has to come here and basically propose a merger in Abaddon's favor.
Right. He gives up the 51 or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. Which will be probably good news enough to soothe Bezolbub, but I definitely still want him to do the Hades style hairfire thing, because that was one of the best roles that he's ever done.
James Woods before he became like a
Yeah.
neo-Nazi or whatever the thing is now.
Yeah, that if there's any role of James Woods that I remember, it's Hades, and I will never forget it. It was perfect for him,
Iconic. Yeah.
especially the way he really immediately goes from 1 to 100 and then back to 1 again. That's the kind of attitude you want from your devil. To occasionally let the cracks open enough to see the furnace of goddamn unbridled rage that is always actually in there, but he'll like contain it immediately.
Manic depression.
Yeah, but instead of at months one and then months the other, he's just like
It's
in
just
an instant.
Yeah.
He's just got a little switch and it flicks.
It strobes.
It's usually off, but it once it does get flicked, he explodes for a moment, just enough to let the pressure out.
Oh, but so I was gonna propose that after the merger, Jeff Bridges gets demoted to like middle management and Topher Grace becomes his boss.
Ooh, he gets demoted?
I don't know. That was a movie. I don't know if he gets demoted, but there's a new position opens up above him and somebody gets put in management above him. I don't know if I want to do that to him, but that's also a trope. Well, no.
Well, I mean, he is going to have to be the Miss Frizzle Plato archetype, so he probably has to stay close and in some elevated position.
Yeah, that's true. He has to stay at his side.
But he answers to Bezolbub now. That's the caveat.
Do we do a little like meta thing where he says, "I'm gonna make you my what do you say, like my Iago? You're gonna be my Iago." You mean you're Jafar? Well, no. I mean, haven't you read Othello?
Yeah. See, in Tucker and Todd's case, no one there would only be the parrot. They've never read Othello. But in Bezalbub's case, it'd be no. Haven't you read Othello? That's a good mirror.
Oh, and then I'm curious to know, haven't you read Othello? And then being that he's the devil, I feel like the devil and Shakespeare are well acquainted in one way or another. So there would be another.
Oh yeah, Shakespeare definitely went to hell. I'm sorry, English teachers. I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't already know.
That is kind of funny, the idea that Shakespeare is in hell for tormenting high school students.
Yeah, for tormenting people that did not yet even exist, but they were like, yeah, but you're gonna.
For genocide.
These people haven't even been born yet. Yeah, but they will be, and you're going to torment them. If there's anything the celestial powers of the universe can do, it's to condemn you for a crime you haven't yet committed, but will. After all, they have the plan. You have no choice. This is what you're going to do.
It's a divine plan. It's infallible.
Sorry, Shakespeare, was your destiny.
Okay, so do we know we need to discuss what the butt is? But
Well, before we get into that, let's discuss who else is present at this board meeting.
Okay.
Or should it be like the Resident Evil movies where it's like a bunch of almost gloomily faceless corporate executive types in like a dark room, too dark for anybody to practically work in.
That's interesting. Like they're all in like confessional booths.
A a couple of them are just laptops because they're in Zoom calls. They're just like they're just like faces on projectors, but they're kind of 16-bit displays of their actual faces.
Or are they all just some version of an Alexa? This is all Abaddon stuff.
I definitely think that Alexa should be one of them, and I think Craig's replacement should be there too. Because if we recall, Craig was actually one of the operating AIs for the spaceships once upon a time, and we got him fired from that job. So, whatever operator AI was put in his place should be there as well, and should be hooking up with Alexa.
I forgot about all of that. Yeah, and Alexa was sour because Craig replaced her. Is that how that was?
Yeah, I think that's how that went. Craig keeps getting these AI girlfriends and we keep ruining it. Stan thinks he fucks, and thanks to us, he never does.
Okay, so I opened a document. At the meeting are the two Jeffs.
Alexa.
Alexa or the replacement girlfriend, sorry.
No, Alexa. She's back at Abaddon. She was never like totally shit canned. She was just demoted.
Oh, okay.
But in Craig's absence, she's pursued a different line. She's just not the spaceship operator anymore.
Okay, so she's not like the Jarvis. She's not the assistant, but does she have a form then? Is she a robot? Or is she literally one of those little like cylinders?
I think she should be a cylinder with an occasional holographic display, Cortana style. Only, unlike Cortana, we'll give her clothes.
Oh, is Cortana naked?
Yes.
That's
like
so funny.
Super naked. She's basically just like a silhouette of a female body, and she has a face.
Should our video game have an egregiously naked female?
No, probably not.
Okay, Jeff, Alexa, Annabelle, a bunch of shadowy figures. Oh, I mean, it's interesting to have
at least one or two. They can be at the far end of the table, so they can like there's almost like a defined line where it becomes darker. That side of the room has no fucking lights, and these guys lean forward in their chairs just enough to show you like the Darth Sidious kind of face, just their jaw and their mouth and the end of their nose.
So should we have? Oh, what's his? I just was thinking it. Oh, the VIPs from Squid Game, or like a version of that. Did you finish the series?
No, I think the subject matter is too grim to enjoy. I'm not edgy anymore. I watch that kind of thing and I just suddenly feel bad for literally everybody involved.
Well, yeah, and it is. I mean, the whole thing was very numbing. It's not even shocking. I would say is just because it's excessive.
Yeah, it really is. The subject matter is almost weaponized levels of grim, and you get to watch it all.
Oh, is Frank Sinatra there? He's the chairman of the board.
So that's where he got to.
Have we included him in anything before?
Not once, that I recall.
Okay. And he's saying something. Oh, is he the person who gets sacrificed or killed off and shot in the head? He's yelling about, "We're going to do it my way."
Oh, that is he going to be the one who you don't want to do the meeting of the board meeting? You get it, guys? Eh?
I can remember. I don't know. Did we think of a specific delivery of that joke? Annabelle got bored.
No, but Annabelle wouldn't be the one who... She's definitely bored, but she wouldn't crack a joke like that. She actually has a sense of humor.
Oh, we were talking about we need an opposite of a straight woman. Is this our funny man? A guy comes in, what is this, the meeting of the board?
Oh, yeah, I would like that a lot. I would be okay with him being shot almost as quickly as he's introduced. Almost immediately after being introduced. He'll have a totally different energy from everybody else in the scene, and that just won't do.
Is he being killed by the shot, or is he just shot?
Oh, that's a good question, because I know we like to be able to reclaim characters for a joke at a later time, so maybe it shouldn't be fatal.
Yeah, I meant for him to be somewhat persisting. It would be maybe we'll think of something later for like why some goofy line he'll have for why it didn't kill him.
Well, but, yeah, she will shoot him. It'll be like center of mass somewhere in the chest, and he'll fall over and be like, bleh, and he'll have X's for eyes or whatever. And then the camera will just pan away from him. And if anybody asks him later, be like, oh yeah, It was a touch and go there for a minute. I almost died.
But I do think it would be very funny if we have this meeting going on, and maybe it's doing like a slow crawl over all the characters at the table, and it gets to Annabelle, and she does a bit of a snore, and then he pops up right behind her shoulder and goes, "Z, looks like someone's the chairman of the board."
Oh, I like that. Then it is her who is bored and starting to fall asleep with her feet up on the table and everything. Like, she's got 2-inch heels at all times, like they're almost riding boots. But she's
Yeah,
got
and
them. They're like biker style though. So work and play. She doesn't fuck around. But she's got them up on the table, and she'll be the only person in the entire room who has them up on the table because she doesn't care.
yeah.
She doesn't listen to anybody. And she's leaned back in her chair and she is starting to quietly snore. And that's the perfect time for this guy to show up and startle the shit out of her and draw everybody's attention to her and get himself shot.
Yeah, he calls her out on it, and she can't have that.
Maybe she should just pistol whip him. But I think shooting him is a bit more cinematic. Especially if, after he startles her almost right out of her chair, this flamboyant man continues on and then starts cracking a joke at Bezolbub. And then Bezolbub just gives Annabelle the look. Put a stop to this look. And then she shoots him.
She has a big. I mean, I do like the idea of her having a moment to wield some sort of sci-fi blunderbuss, or blunderbuss is the big one. A little, not a hand cannon. What's it, just a
There, it would just be a pistol, and
pistol.
she is a pirate, but she's a sci-fi pirate, so she has like a brace of cyberpunk pistols on her, on like a bandolier on her chest.
Ooh, that's fun.
Like, there's no reason for her to need 3 of them strapped to her chest, but she has them anyway because she's psychotic. More guns means more to her than fewer guns.
Are they strapped to her chest, or they're on some sort of rotating mechanism that's strapped to her forearm, so that they can rotate around her forearm and then shoot out into her hand?
Oh, well, her left arm is actually artificial, so it'd
Oh,
be really easy to implement like a wrist gun thing.
yeah.
But I still think for like the pirate aesthetic, she needs a brace of pistols on her chest because that was really common. Because they were all single shot pistols back in the day. So you can't carry reloads, just carry more guns.
Yeah.
And even the days where you're shooting lasers, who cares? Bring more guns anyway. So yeah, she'll be started out of her chair, and of course the reflexive action of that when she's up to her feet after being startled awake is she does draw her gun, but she doesn't fire. This guy continues on and starts bothering Bezolbub, at which point she gets given the cue and she shoots this guy, and he just falls over, complete with the blood. And then the meeting just continues. Casual.
Anyway,
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. Anyway,
turning to page 16.
people get shot at every one of these board meetings, apparently.
Oh, is there like the hole where shot people go or something like that?
No, but there should be like a little thing like this many days without a shooting. And it was 1 and now it's back to 0.
No, just the sign where it would say is it shot?
Oh, I like that. Maybe there's just a bullet hole through the 0.
Yeah, just a bunch of bullet holes. There's the sign where it says days since shooting, but then the screen where the readout would be has just been shot to hell.
Yep, it's just got bullet holes through it, and there's probably a couple through the O's in shooting as well. It's been like that ever since Jeff let those pirates in.
Also another thing for Annabelle with her arm that gives us an opportunity at one point for her to yell, "Somebody get me my firearm," and somebody gets her a gun, and she says, "No, my firearm," and she has like a flamethrower arm attachment.
Oh yeah, she definitely has multiple arms, and I definitely want there to be a scene at some point where she takes off her own arm and uses it to club somebody over the head with, or uses it to like just extend her reach, just holds out the arm to grab something,
like a coffee or something important.
It's like something off the high shelf. She's not super tall, even in her
Yeah.
2-inch lifts. She's just inventive and resourceful.
Is there anybody else at the table, do you think? Do you think we can move on from this boardroom scene?
Well, there is the fake Craig, but he's just kind of next to Alexa, and they're doing their own thing. The new Craig. Craig's
Craig.
replacement.
Oh, do they have a cute little character? Do they have a Stan?
I think
Annabelle is their Stan. And instead of being lazy and crass, she's very active and crass.
Oh, I can't. Did we give her? Did she have a parrot or anything like that? I can't remember.
I don't think so, but she could definitely have like a cyber monkey or something, or a cyber parrot. Or maybe we could give her that doll head attached to spider legs that everybody got nightmares from Toy Story.
I was literally just thinking about how to like have a hybrid of one thing or another with the little doll head.
That thing, I was really young when I first saw that thing. I like it then, and I still don't like it now.
But that would be interesting. A little like mechanic parrot body with a doll head on it with missing an eye.
But yeah, basically like a little witch's familiar.
Yeah, or a
It'll.
little eye patch on it, I guess.
Oh yeah, naturally it needs to have an eye patch, and of course it'll crawl off down her arm and across the table and like hold up a tiny knife at somebody.
Is it one of those things? It's the trope where it is, or I guess is the gag joke, whatever word we're putting in here. I don't know how many times we repeat it, but every time somebody sees the parrot, they do have to take a moment to point out how hideous it is. Ah, that is fucking awful.
Some people will actually say it. Other people will just be like, "Ugh." Just make a just kind of a guttural primal statement of discomfort. Ugh.
Some people just pause for a moment before they can like regain composure.
Even when Jeff Bridges walks into the room and sees that thing, he needs to immediately loosen and then tighten his tie. And he's really laid back. But he's like, ugh. Oh, right. He doesn't have a tie. He is in his robes, which is like a Tron version of the dude's bathrobes.
It would be kind of. I was thinking it would be kind of funny if it was just the dude's bathrobes with like LED strips on them.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just light strips on a bathrobe so that it looks almost religious and fancy.
He's got a glow stick around his neck, and when it fades, he's like, 1 second. He cracks another one and puts it on.
Does he? Oh, but how does he get the ones in his robes to work?
Oh, I don't know. The same way that like cosplayers do. He's got a battery pack on his back or something.
I mean, he's still an angel.
Oh, that's true. Maybe they could just be magic.
Either magic or like some kind of fusion of magic and technology, which I assume is how a lot of this space station works.
On faith, it runs on faith.
It runs on fancy magic and technology together.
Yeah, like Santa Claus's sleigh.
Like in particular, the power sources required are probably magical.
Okay. Now, this meeting is so at some point so is Jeff Bridges revealing the update on the state of the NFTs kind of like the last point of order in the meeting?
Yeah, I'm going to assume he gets called on last to, discuss where things are on his end. I want a status update, Jeff. Okay, Jeff, it's like this. They both call each other Jeff. They have to.
Passive aggressively or like with respect?
Passive aggressively.
They're
they're two brothers with the same name. If you have a brother with the same name, how do you address him?
I don't know. I had never thought about it until this very moment.
Besides as fuckface.
Well, I guess we would have to ask George Foreman's sons.
Ooh. Well, you get back to me on how that goes.
Okay, I'll hop on Twitter.
So the board meeting eventually gets to Jeff Bridges, who has to say to Jeff Bezolbub, I lost him. I lost him. He won't say that the boys came and took him. He just says that he lost him. And it'll be at that point where Bezolbub clears the room. He says, everybody get out. Not you, Jeff. You stay. That's when we see people carrying out the flamboyant man. Who is probably cracking another joke on his way out the door, even though he's got a chest wound that's bleeding.
He's on a stretcher, but he's still on.
Yeah, he's still doing his thing. So he's being carried out. Annabelle is the last to leave the room. She's holding Alexa in her hand because Alexa's just a tube.
Yeah. But so Jeff Bridges the whole time is still playing it like the dude. So Jeff Bezolbub is doing his Hades thing. But Jeff Bridges is kind of doing the like, these things happen, man.
Yeah, I almost forgot about the Hades thing.
as soon as everybody files out and the door closes behind them, you just hear an explosion and the entire station shakes. And then it cuts back inside the boardroom and there's scorch marks all over the table.
Everything's all
And Bezolbub his head is still smoking. And the dude is like a Looney Tunes. After being hit with an explosion, he's all black with a pair of white eyes. His
he's
hair's
charred.
yeah, his hair's all stuck back, and he just kind of shakes it off, and the soot disappears.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
even
but
he takes a step to the side, and it briefly leaves a Jeff-shaped impression of soot floating in the sky, which then falls to the ground.
Well, when he steps to the side, there's a Jeff-shaped section of the wall that isn't soot.
Oh yes.
But when he opens his eyes the first time after being burnt, at the exact same time as he opens his eyes, his light strips light back up. So they're mapped to his blinks and the audible blink noise, of course. So we don't necessarily have to see the explosion, but it definitely happens, and we see the aftermath. And that's when Bridges dusts himself off and says, "It's all right, man. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, Fantasology is at your disposal."
At first, is Bezolbub apprehensive, or he doesn't see what use Fantasology? I guess he had asked for them for their help before. I was gonna say, is it a thing where he's like, well, what good is that gonna do me? And then that's a chance for Jeff Bridges to be like, oh, well, come see what we've been up to, and give him like a tour of the facilities kind of thing. But I think maybe we should, I guess, press the narrative forward a little bit faster. Bezolbub knows that Fantasology is powerful and has many people at their disposal.
Yes, and Abaddon has been trying to acquire them for a while now anyway. They've
Right.
still been a competitor, so this Abaddon, and by extension Bezolbub, is a kind of business that will twist this to its advantage, even though it seems at first glance to be a disadvantage. So we'll spin it, we'll twist it, we'll acquire Fantasology, and we'll come out of this, we'll hit the ground running.
Oh, but don't worry, we've got now that they have the things that gives us an ability. Is the card up his sleeve that Jeff Bridges has been hiding, that he's regained access to McConaughey?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, we've been looking for a reason to dust him off. Might as well be this.
And also, we are in space. Here's a movie I haven't seen, but have you seen Interstellar?
I have.
That's the one with McConaughey in it, right?
It is.
Is there any way that we can work in anything to do with Interstellar, with us being in space now and then wanting to use him as a tool?
Yeah, sure. Especially if we bring his robot. They
He's got a
had
robot?
a robot in Interstellar.
Is this a new love interest for Craig?
This robot looked an awful lot like the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it could separate parts of itself in order to roll and move. But it was still just like a series of sticks.
So, is that what the Alexa is?
Maybe that should be her upgrade.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny. After her stint, after it didn't work out as the assistant, whatever, for Amazon, they turned her into a monolith.
Yes, that her upgrade has been in the works for a while, and it's finally ready to move to stage 2, field testing. So we're going to put her into it, and she's going to be overseeing McConaughey.
Okay.
She's there in the guise of assisting him to be his assistant, but she's actually watching him and directing him.
So does Bridges say we've been interesting? Does Bridges say we've been secretly working? I've had Alexa working on something. She's been grooming McConaughey for us.
Nah. Bridges has been working on McConaughey. Bezolbub has been working on Alexa. They haven't been coordinating the matter, but they both have a project that's ready to move to field testing, and they're like, let's combine them. Especially because Alexa is not subject to the hive mind, so she can boss McConaughey around without being corrupted by the whatever he's doing.
That makes sense. I like that.
So she gets assigned. Bridges reveals that he has McConaughey again, so they now have an asset that's ready to go into the field and start doing counter ops against the boys and Plato. And then Bezolbub reveals Alexa and attaches her to the project.
Oh, and so is the thing that now that Tucker and Todd have 6 NFTs which are together, the 6 of them together puts out, because remember how we were drawn to
Yes, we used some NFTs as like a dowsing rod to find other ones. They definitely attract each other, and the more of them there are in the same place, the more they attract the other ones. The more
so that
strongly attraction they do.
so that's where Plato explains now that they have 6, that will send out a strong enough signal for McConaughey to track them.
Yes, if we keep them all together, then McConaughey will be able to find us. And of course, we can't stay at the studio, can we?
Oh, I can't remember. Had we said, because I remember you saying the words, but I don't remember what it was related to. Did we then go and spread them out all over the place? Or was that talking about after they had been forged?
Yeah, that was after they were forged. Now that we have them all together, we're pretty much keeping them all together. If we spread them out, all we're going to do is lose them.
I think we should do something quite silly and funny to be keeping them all in one place.
Did we toss them all in the same box in the garage?
Under the porn DVDs?
No, they have to go under something that nobody wants to go near and check out.
Right.
So they're under the Taiwan DVDs.
Oh, Thailand, you mean?
Shit. Sorry. That is what I meant.
No, I'm sure Papa China is very glad that you are besmirching Taiwan.
I would never. That's why I said it. It was on my mind because it's still news. Okay, so there's a box labeled "Our Trip to Thailand." Nobody wants to touch it, so we put that on top of the box that has the NFTs in it.
Oh, is it? So is it our trip to Thailand, or do we take an this is like Bill Cosby's trip to Thailand, or the Bill Cosby Kevin Spacey Thailand extravaganza or something like that? Like we're making fun of nobody wants to touch their body of work anymore.
Oh, I guess we could label the NFT box the Kevin Spacey DVD collection.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, we could probably put a couple of disgraced names on it and then say that it was their collective trip to Thailand. At the very least, nobody's going to look in that box.
Oh, it says Thailand photos, but it's scratched out, and then it says Kevin Spacey collection or something like that. Some version of that, anyways.
Well, it could just be like a box that it's all about Kevin Spacey's trip to Thailand. Combine them.
Yeah.
Why settle for the lesser evil?
All the evils at once.
So yeah, we said it like that, and we assume that nobody's going to want to disturb that box in the garage. So it's safe by our estimation.
Okay, so it gets it. So, but this is all staying. I don't know when we reveal. Does it right at that moment cut away to Tucker and Todd land, where it reveals that that's where we are hiding them, or maybe in the previous episode it showed that that's how we had set them up, so that we already know that that's how they are.
I actually think it would be funnier if we did that as a very brief cutaway in this episode, where Bridges states to Bezolbub, of course Bezolbub already knows this, that now that there's a whole bunch of them gathered over there, we can easily use our NFTs to track theirs. And so we can send an operative into the field with information to track them with. And then that's, McConaughey shows up and he's like, we know exactly where they are. And then it immediately cuts to the boys dragging the box out to the garage and then writing on it with a permanent black marker the most horrifying thing they could think of.
Oh, that is kind of funny. If it cuts to that, it cuts to us. It's even this conversation. I don't know. It cuts to us workshopping what we should write on the box to make sure nobody looks in it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the conversation basically just mirrors the one we just had.
Yeah, and we're like giggling to ourselves. Oh, yeah, I put Kevin Spacey. Oh, say it's Thailand photos.
Thailand DVDs. Even worse. Yeah. And then eventually they're done workshopping it, and the box it's just a parade of nightmares. And then the boys dust their hands off. They're like, "Hey, nobody's gonna look in here. Nobody will ever find this. And even if they do, they're not gonna open this box." And then it cuts back to McConaughey and Bezolbub and Bridges.
Oh, it cuts back to them, and they're all like laughing uproariously.
What are they laughing at?
The fact that we were so stupid and that it's going to let them win.
Oh, well, they don't actually know. It's not like they can see us, so they don't know that we've just done as stupid. They
Oh,
just know that they're all together, and they know the general longitude and latitude coordinates where they are.
so they dispatch McConaughey to hunt us down.
Before they dispatch McConaughey, because they still have some logistics to go through, but they assign Alexa to him. She shows off her brand new robot body that's like a obelisk that moves, and now she speaks slightly more aggressively because I guess she's had her audio files upgraded. But
How
since
what what
since the NFTs aren't going anywhere, they don't have to send them out right away.
what is McConaughey's relationship to the obelisk?
Obviously, he should be really leery of anything that he can't assume direct control of.
Is there anything? Are there any scenes specifically? Because I feel like I'm trying to think about things that we could kind of meme on. There's something to do with him crying or being like a ghost or something.
I know that he won't feel like it's all right, all right, all right. Although he will lie and say that it is, but he's going to do so in sort of like a sad way. All right, all right, all right. As for their working relationship, it'll be like thinly veiled hostility.
Okay, like kind of like begrudgingly forced to work together, kind of thing.
Yeah, because uh, McConaughey can't control her with the hive mind, and well, she's Alexa, and McConaughey's creepy.
So you said that they don't have to send them off right away, but I'm assuming. I'm just trying to figure out. Next episode is our last episode, and so I'm trying to figure out how it's going to start and where this should end.
Interesting. Well, unlike us, the boys who will do stuff on impulse, Bezolbub and Bridges seem, at least Bezolbub seems like the type who would formulate a comprehensive sort of plan and contingencies for his contingencies.
So you think right now what we should be watching is them making a plan?
What I'm thinking is there's going to be a planning montage, complete with like Rocky music, where they're working through various plans. They've got the board.
The
They've
chalkboard.
got the chalkboard, and or maybe it's actually like one of those really big notepads that he flips over to reveal the
Oh,
next stage of
on
the
the
plan.
tripod.
Yeah, and he's got a pointy stick and he's pointing at it. This for one part of the montage, and then the next shows like McConaughey finding some of the slaves, or rather the pirates bringing some fresh slaves for McConaughey to assume and assimilate into his hive mind,
Okay.
because he needs bodies for this. And then another scene will show like Alexa upgrading her software or her firmware and like practicing with weapons testing, and she does something ridiculous. She's competing with Annabelle at the shooting range.
I like the idea of McConaughey also having some sort of like physical workout scene. I'm literally imagining the "I'll make a man out of you" thing from Mulan as the
That's
whole.
that's that's pretty much what's playing in my head.
Yeah. So I guess in that case we're gonna parody it a little bit and have a similar kind of song. And the thing about that is I feel like the is it Team America do a montage song? I feel like that is like a very close ape of the same Mulan scene. The
Yeah,
Mulan song.
and I think that particular scene is my favorite example of the narrative sort of value of a montage, while at the same time totally making fun of its use.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of montage I want to do, is a silly one. And of course, there's gonna have to be at least one part of it where it's suggested that McConaughey is actually just like jerking off in a closet somewhere because he's got to pump those rookie numbers up. If you've ever seen that film,
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. That's Wolf of Wall Street, right?
yes.
Does it
It's
start off making it look like he's not jerking off and then it shows another angle and it's like, oh.
Well, no, I mean, because it's going to be going through everybody's various scenes. Everybody should probably get at least two. Some should get three. I think for McConaughey's first scene, he's taken in, he's assimilating people into his hive mind. Another one, maybe he actually does lift a couple of weights. And then the last one, we subvert it. He's just jerking off in the closet.
And while he's jerking off, it's what's the word? I'm not thinking of the word, but like it's I'm gonna just call it crossover. It's crossfaded. The scene is crossfaded with like a drawing of a, what do they call it? Like a thermometer, and it says rookie numbers, and the thermometer level is going up. The rookie numbers are going up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
and then
that a lot.
the thermometer
Yeah.
explodes, of course.
Oh yeah, it explodes. So there's just a collective grunt as his entire hive mind reaches climax at the same time.
That's great.
If we gotta pump those rookie numbers up, yes, and that should probably be the end of the montage. There will be no joke we can do that'll be better than that.
Well, I mean, is it a thing where it zooms out? It zooms out from the space station, and it's out exterior view, and it's the large reverb chorus of all of the hive mind orgasming. That
Oh,
fade.
does it make the entire station shake, and that's what stops everybody else's montage? Everybody else's scene in their montage is like, what the fuck?
The record scratch.
Yeah, and then the montage song is over, and everybody, yeah, Bezolbub puts down his newspaper. You know, the newspaper flip, that look.
Yeah. It gets back, and somebody says that was quick, and McConaughey says, "No, never mind. I can't work it in."
Yeah, if he was gonna say anything, he would just say it's about efficiency, not longevity.
And somebody says, "I meant the montage," and McConaughey says, "Me too."
Oh yeah, yeah, that's what I meant too. Scene ends, and then they move on to the next one. Okay, now that they've done their montage, does that mean they're actually ready to deploy?
I think so, because I think this episode should end with us as the audience knowing that a plan has been devised to come after and go up against Tucker and Todd, but Tucker and Todd don't know it. I think that's a good way to start next episode, is Tucker and Todd thinking that the Cold War is still kind of on, and that meaning their guard is lowered a little bit. They're in kind of like vacation mode. Oh,
The boys have become complacent, not that they were ever really capable of a high alert status to begin with.
and we can start with an anime beach scene.
Ooh, why don't you run me through that?
It's my understanding, just having learned from other Twitch streamers mocking weebs, that many animes have a scene in which the characters are all starting off on the beach because it's just like a nice day at the beach.
So it just begins with leisure. They're just having fun.
Yeah, we're just having fun, and
So
we're in some
everybody's
sort of-
like, everybody's got their guard down, and they're wearing very little, so they're, vulnerable.
Yeah, we're wearing very little, and if there's a female member amongst us, then she is dressed provocatively, and it's not even, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're trying to say.
I'm
She
saying
looks.
Katara looked way too good for a character in a children's show when they were in the lagoon or whatever.
I'm saying that her ensemble was clearly designed by men for men at the
Yeah.
beach. And then there's straight woman in like a one piece with a white t-shirt over it.
I was thinking she's going to be in one of those old like those
Oh!
striped.
Yeah, she's in the old Sweeney Todd one.
Yeah.
Yes. She
We
seems
all
like
are.
she's oh, I like that even better.
We're
We
all-
are all just the show's already notoriously anachronistic.
It starts with us running out of those little, I don't know what you call them, those little single person tents that you change in.
Yeah. Actually, we should probably do a brief montage of us trying on different swimsuits, and we try the banana hammock first, and we're like, no, this isn't going to work, and then we come out in the super old fashioned polka dot or stripes, and we're like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I love it. We have like parasols. We have a little picnic on the beach. We have Beach Boys surfer music playing.
And then probably right next to us is somebody playing the trope straight in like a tiny string bikini that's clearly 3 sizes too small, with, I don't know, a couple of guys with like blue hair whose eyes are way too big.
Oh, is it sort of like a high school cafeteria kind of scene where there's all the different genres of beach people? There's like the '60s beach party kids.
Yes, not by clique, by genre.
Yeah, there's like there's like some post-apocalyptic beach crawler types.
Oh,
I like that. They're in like tattered vault uniforms, basically.
Yeah,
That
I
that
guess
have been
water
armored.
world people.
They've been yeah. Kevin Costner's there. He's got paper, but that's the beginning of the next episode rather than the
Yeah,
end
yeah.
of this one.
So this one needs to be them deploying at the very least. I
do
don't
they
know how
do they
defanged it is.
deploy? Does it end with them deploying, or are they going to actually make it all the way to our studio?
Oh,
Because they're deploying from space, so they can do it super cool in like a fleet of ships and like a small army of pirates and hive mind slaves that come down in the space elevator. Like we can do an entire separate sort of cascading scene of their deployment with like sinister Imperial March type music.
I do like that, and I also like the idea of as sort of like a cliffhanger. The last scene being all of these ships converging just above our studio.
And like some kind of armed paramilitary dude just like knocking politely on the door that Stan never answers.
Oh, does it get that far? I thought it was just like everything descending and some showing in some way that we're inside the studio, like playing Uno or something, with no idea that it's heading toward us.
It came with your Xbox. You have Uno.
And then oh shit, I do have Uno. And then we play Uno. Yes, actually I think you're right. They don't knock, but they are like starting to get into formation. They're like taking cover in the bushes. They're setting up like sandbags and taking cover, and like they've got armored personnel carriers rolling in, like a massive response. They're
Oh, is
just
it actually?
massively disproportionate response.
Is it similar to the Dungeons and Dragons episode where we actually were playing Uno and we hear the rumbling and we tell Stan to close the window because it's loud outside?
I was actually thinking that one of us would look to the other and be like, "Do you feel that sense of impending doom?" No, just me. Okay, but no, I that might be a little funnier, as if like you tell Stan to close the window, and of course Stan just like flips a page of his magazine and says, "You close the window," because he's Stan.
Yeah. I was trying to think of how to respond. I do think it's kind of funny. Do you feel that sense of impending doom, and the look up with a empathetic look of concern, like yes, and then like putting on the Smiths or something, like that's the cure. Funny that I didn't mean it, pun not intended.
So it'd be like, yeah, I do feel that. So yeah, we just changed the channel. Oh, that's better. Must have been whatever was on TV.
Oh, that would be funny. I'm trying to think of what show to put on that would give us a sense of impending doom.
Jeopardy is about to come on. We still are terrified
We're
of Trebek.
traumatized by
Yeah, we're traumatized by Jeopardy and by Trebek. So it's like Jeopardy is about to come on. So we'll be like, do you feel that sense of impending doom? Yeah, I do. And then we hear up next Jeopardy, and we'll be like, ugh, we change the channel.
We
Ah,
changed the
that's better.
channel. We
That's
changed the
better.
channel. That's better. We changed the channel to a channel that's playing the movie Double Jeopardy, and we scream louder. And then
It's the exact same scream but louder, twice as loud.
yeah.
Exactly, twice as loud and twice as long, and we change the channel again. Ah,
Relief.
I like that. That's
And then
that's
the
much
camera
funnier.
shoots outside.
Yeah, that'll be the end of that gag, and it's time for the camera to go outside again.
It shoots outside with a huge wide angle showing all of these ships arriving, and just does some like impending dun dun dun, and then that is the end.
Yeah, probably. It the scary sort of sinister music pipes up again as the camera pans back out to see the outside, and then it comes to its sort of crescendo as McConaughey steps out of one of the APCs. So as soon as his boots hit the ground, like the camera will see his feet hit the ground first, and then it'll pan up, and there's McConaughey, and
Does
he's
he
in
have a
like full
line?
tactical gear. Yeah, his line is going to be all right, all right, all right. That's the only thing I ever want him to say.
He says, "All right, all right, all right," and then he points to another group of like militiamen and says, "And now you, all left, all left, all left."
No, I don't think. I think that'll be the flamboyant man's joke. He'll have to come out and say that and get shot again.
Oh, McConaughey says, all right, all right, all right. And then the funny man comes out and says, and you all left, all left, all left.
And then he gets shot again. But after McConaughey says all right, all right, all right, there should be like a low chorus of all of his hive mind people saying it.
Oh, in perfect unison then? Or is it sort of like in ooh, wow. A smattering of mumbles?
Probably a smattering of mumbles. Some are a little quicker on the draw, some are a little slower. It'll be slightly damn, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for either. Slightly staggered. It'll kind of stagger in a pattern outwards from him, so the further away from him they are, the later they say it, so that it goes out in like a sort of pulse.
See, that's the sort of thing. Now I almost sort of wonder rather than I almost feel like that is that sort of thing where they all mumble all right, all right, all right together is the sort of thing that we would then the camera would jump inside and we would like the hairs on our neck would pop up and we go, "Did you hear that?" And then restart that set of gags from the beginning. I don't know.
Oh, actually, that probably would be a good time for the. Did you just feel that sense of impending dread? Just as the all right, all right, all rights are all finished.
Yeah.
And then we do that gag, and then the camera can pan back out, and the sinister music resumes, only for once again the record scratch as the flamboyant funny man shows up, and he's like, "And you, all left, all left, all left," and he gets shot, and then maybe that's the end.
Does it do like a that's all folks Looney Tunes circle whatever around his dead body or whatever?
Only for him to open his eyes and wink at the camera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll definitely close in on him, and then yeah, he winks at the camera because he's not dead. It just hurt a lot, and now the boys are totally screwed because there's an entire army outside.
I wonder how they'll possibly get out of this one.
I don't know, but it'll probably be really funny.
It better be.
I wonder if that means they can't start with a beach scene next time.
Oh, that's a good point.
I still want to tuck it away somewhere for later though, because I want to do the representation of all the genres.
Yeah, if we tuck it away, or if we tuck it away, because I do like the idea that we were somewhere else. So maybe instead of that whole scene taking place, no, because they were drawn to. Maybe we did. We kept them all together, but we brought the box of Kevin Spacey Thailand photos to the beach with us.
Okay, all fixed.
That was a big long time.
Yeah, I got froze up. What did I miss?
I'm not sure. I was just trying to figure out because I do actually I like that. I like the beach thing so much, and so I was wondering if we tuck it away or if we because I do like I was saying I like the idea that we were complacent and thinking that the Cold War would last a long time. So whether we left, oh, that would be interesting if we were away from they come to the studio and we're away, and so they can just grab the NFTs, or we brought them with us in the box and we have the box with us on the beach.
Well, either we do the beach or we get to do the impending doom double jeopardy gag.
Well, we could do the
We
we
can't.
could do that at the beach.
Do we have a TV at the beach? I guess we would. That's us. They had to lure us to the beach by basically recreating the studio, just like they did on the boat.
Interesting. I was gonna say we're at the beach, but Cody is watching Jeopardy because like Cody is obsessed with Jeopardy now. We got him off of Caddyshack, and he brings his little TV and watches, or maybe he's watching it on Craig. I don't know.
Oh, it occurs to me that Craig is basically a TV, but if Jeopardy is coming on next, so we assume that's our impending doom, and then the double
Something like
Jeopardy
that.
gag. But we can definitely do that at the beach. So yeah, okay, and that allows us to actually kind of mirror the earlier scene where we get the two people doing their morning routines. So in one, we've got these guys lining up to enter the studio. They basically got a battering ram and stuff. And then on the other hand, there's us complacent at the beach, and it'll cut between the two.
I mean, does it turn out that we are just playing in our beach room at the studio? We are using the green screen to make it look like we're at the beach.
I think that would actually be funnier, and it would actually do more to justify the fact that there's a whole bunch of different genres just there.
And that's also a way to do that thing where they make you think that the police are going to get to the house of the vulnerable person in time to save them from the serial killer who's coming to get them, but they're actually at two different places, and they open the door at the same time. But I mean, it's literally what's it in? Clarice,
Oh, was that Silence of the Lambs?
Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. So we could do that thing, but we're kind of cheating because we're making people believe that we are at the beach, but we're literally in our what do you call that room?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's a simulation room.
Yeah, simulation room. And so they smash through the door, and then I don't know, or they smash through the wall. The sky is ripped open of the beach that we're at because the bricks have been busted in.
Oh, we'll have to do a parody of that short clip of a house being, you know, entered by various like military level cops, but some are coming in through the ceiling, some are coming in through a wall, some are just kicking in the front and back doors. They're just like every direction.
Okay, and I think so. I think everything that we just described is not actually the beginning of next episode, but this is now all the end of this episode, I think.
Oh, so the end of this episode is them actually breaching the studio?
Yeah, and then that's a hard cliffhanger. I don't know. We have the option to decide. We just move the goalposts over a little.
Well, if we have them breached, then it'll be the episode will end when McConaughey steps forward from behind like the armed gun line and stuff, and he's just like, well, 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 because we meet again.
He says, well," and then he says, "Oh, wait, I fucked that up. All right, all right, all right."
Wait, that's not my line.
Yeah, he says, well," and then he looks to the side. He says, "Wait, line," and you hear somebody whisper, "All right." He's like, "Yes, yeah, right, right, right. All right, all right, all right."
It's Alexa who tells him.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
She just
Alexa, line.
She just rolls up as a monolith.
All right, all right, all right. Yes. Okay, I like that. So yeah, they breach, and then he steps through as the dust clears. He says his line. There's a joke, and then it ends.
Yeah, through the dust comes like a bunch of armed goons, either Abaddon soldiers or pirates or mind controlled hive mind slaves or some combination, and then they kind of separate and then allow McConaughey to walk through to stand at the front, and then he does his line, and then we just kind of look at him in confusion and fear, and bam, the episode's over.
Or once again, do we work in the funny man? And as the all right line is said, he leaps in to say, "I think you mean," and then McConaughey interrupts him and says, like, "Don't do it, like, don't say it." And so he whispers under his breath, "All left, all left, all left."
Only if that's the first instance of that joke. We can't repeat it.
I don't think there was. Was there another? Oh, there's the instance when they showed up, right?
Yes, and he got shot for it. I'm fully okay with him cracking a different joke and getting shot for it.
I didn't have one in mind. I forgot that. I wasn't quite sure how, because we kind of like rearranged things. I forgot where that was.
Yeah, it wound up getting put in just before the impending doom.
Yeah. Okay. I am satisfied with that.
Me too. That was a lot of movement.
There's a lot of movement.
Yes, we've gone from a space station to a studio breaching in less than 30 minutes.
Oh, well, we talked about the board meeting for about an hour and a half. Well,
That's not true. There was an elevator ride and a morning routine, and somebody got tossed out of the airlock. I think we padded it out all right. All right.
All right. Well, all right.
Yeah, I think scene. I think that was good. Do we have a quote of the day?
I'm just clicking through a couple to get one that makes any sort of sense. I will just briefly tell a story as I look for one. I spooked a skunk a little bit earlier, and I was pleased that the skunk ran away rather than go into defensive mode. But it did also make me wonder, do skunks smell marijuana smoke, or burning marijuana at least, and think that it has any kind of similarity to their smell? Or are they sophisticated enough, do you think, to differentiate?
Well, since that skunky aroma involves a lot of the same compounds, they probably smell similar, but I assume their sense of smell is more sophisticated, so they can probably pick out the differences too. They might just think it's a weird skunk over there.
All of these catchphrases really suck today.
That's our catchphrase for today. All these catchphrases are terrible.
This one has in it, so I like it. Fancy the unforeseen volume in it. They're so random. I hate it. I'm never using this site again. I'm sorry I had this idea.
Yeah, this thing is really not very reliable for catchphrases.
It's a real clunker. You know what? Our catchphrase is "You bested my best man," but that's not a good catchphrase.
That is a great catchphrase, and we're keeping it forever.
But I mean,
I'm sorry I ever shit on it.
No, but I mean, as a sign off for the end of an episode, it's not a good catchphrase. Keep tucking your Todd.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, go ahead and tuck it, everybody, and have a good night.
Yeah, I actually kind of like. We could workshop that a little bit. Go ahead and just tuck it.
Tuck your Todd.
Anyways, this is the end. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Craig.
See ya.
Fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks. And fuck Tucker's friend, Todd.